right, the Crossman is out. Been fun, man. Yeah, glad to finally meet you. Now that he's gone, we can really have some fun. Welcome back, everybody, to the World's Worst Fishing. We are still in Michigan. As you can see, I have Dead On Plastix behind me. Randy, one of the owners, is back there. I mean, golly, he worked so hard. I mean, right now he's testing colorant bottles. He's bagging up colors and worm oils and other additives that will then be actually boxed up and shipped out. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to not only introduce you to both Travis and Randy, the owner of Dead On Plastix, but we're going to take a look at their operation. I'm going to personally box up some orders. You know, they're going to put me to work a little bit, and I'll see what I can do to help out. You know, we're going to show you part of their process where they actually get the drums of plastic in from the manufacturer and then pump it into, you know, their gallon jugs, and you know, show you how they do a little bit of quality control on their colorants. Travis is going to talk about how he develops the colorants. You know, one cool thing about the Dead On colors is that Travis, the mad scientist, is developing these colors. They're not just picking them off some color website somewhere and then just sending them straight to you. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is really hands-on. There's a lot of hands-on quality control about it. And, you know, Dead On Plastix is, I mean, my plastisol of choice. Excellent color selection. I mean, they are really building a legacy here with their colors. So we're going to take a look, meet some of the owners, and this is going to be a fun video. All right, well, that right there is a familiar sight that I love. I'm just not used to seeing it on a drum. So basically, whenever the drums come in to get them into the buckets and the gallon jugs, see over there, gallon jugs, you know, they have to pump the drum out. And so we're gonna kind of observe the drum being pumped out. This is Randy, one of the Dead On Plastix OGs, one of the owners, and we're gonna be pumping out some worm blend.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right, so he has the nozzle set on there, and the pump's already on?
The pump's on.
All right, so these are familiar.
Yep.
Familiar jugs.
These gallons, it'll take me, probably half hour to fill 50 of them.
Okay.
All right. Now, what we do to, I'm not going to say ensure that there's absolutely zero air in it, but we will put this nozzle in and set it on an angle so it goes down the side, so it's not gurgling.
Okay.
So
sort of the way you want to pour a beer.
Exactly.
At an angle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it.
I think that might have been where I got the idea.
That's right.
So we'll put it in on an angle, and we can dial this down to whatever the amount of fill is, but right there, you hear no air, you hear no guzzling, no bubbling.
Oh, look at that filling up like that. That's
so there's
quick.
the first gallon.
Yeah, that's quick.
So, and we can go faster, but I try to keep it so it doesn't, if it makes noise, personally I think if it makes noise, it's getting some air.
Yeah,
so,
you don't want to aerate it and just splash it too.
Although, any of the air, contrary to what you think, this kind of air induced will, as the jugs set on the shelf, a lot of that air will dissipate.
Right, that's different than moisture micro bubbles.
Oh, exactly.
Like bubbles that you stir in, they go away. If the resin's full of moisture, they just kind of keep coming.
Exactly.
It's
so it's kind of, I'm not going to say it's a misnomer when you're mixing your plastic to induce air and cause bubbles, but they're going to be bigger bubbles.
Those are the big bubbles that settle out.
Yes, they're not going to be the micro bubbles.
Moisture is the problem, people.
Yes, moisture is the moisture bubbles will be throughout the plastic.
Exactly. So this is cool right here. These are giant pallets of 5-gallon buckets. Now they don't pump out into the 5-gallon buckets. The 5-gallon buckets come pretty much pre-packaged at the actual polymer manufacturer. So the company that they actually have make their formulas for them, they come just like this on these pallets. So it looks like we have some, what is this? Okay, that's the black bucket worm blend. And over here, what do we have? More worm blend. Okay, so lots of worms being made between these two pallets. And I don't know, hopefully one of these will have my name on it at some point. Yeah, so this right here is a really cool view. You can see that a lot of the gallon jugs hang out over here before going out. And this right here is some drop shot finesse worm. And you can just kind of see that you know, the way that they mix the plastic prior to pumping it into the gallons keeps it very even, right? So you're always going to get the same ratio, because like Randy was mentioning, the drums, you know, will actually settle. So if they get a drum in and they don't use it and pump it out that day or even that week, you know, it will start to settle. So that's why they mix it for several hours. That way you get consistent durometers as they pump these out into the gallons. All right, everybody, so I'm with Randy, and we're gonna kind of go through the process of processing an order, which I guess would be printing off the order form, but then now we're going to put together the boxes.
We are going to put together the boxes per the order.
I'm going to get close to this, and we're going to watch one of these boxes again. But you know, anyone who's ever bought Plastisol, you know, I mean, it's a heavy liquid. It has to be in a pretty substantial box, and I mean, they're stapling these things with these big staples, and we're going to show you how to do it. So this is like some homemade equipment here.
Yeah.
and he's gonna, but it's ingenious. Yeah. So he's gonna show you how they're doing this.
This is a 5-gallon box. These now, we've learned over time, this one is rated at 71 pounds.
71 pounds, okay.
UPS is not kind to our stuff, so, you know, we try to do our best. So what we're doing here is, we're gonna put this box together, and since you don't want the staples to hit anything because they would deflect.
Right.
So the way this goes on here, you're going to run the staples parallel to the two boards. The two boards act as a rest.
As a rest.
And then the staples will miss. Let me grab my staple gun here.
Yeah.
So, and we put 5 staples in it. And we always check, just in case, none of them are sticking up.
Okay.
Because if one was to stick up, it would put a hole in the bottom of the bucket.
It might puncture something, right?
Yes.
All right, my turn to try to put one of these boxes together, and I'll have some instruction, of course. So maybe this is somebody's order out there. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So if you get a box that's completely fallen apart, it's my fault.
Okay, we'll start with the 1 gallon.
Okay. So do you do them this way?
See, now, first thing, this has to be exposed.
Okay.
Because of the ratings.
Because of the, okay.
If something were to happen in this box, the first thing UPS is going to do is going to call me and want to know what the rating was.
Okay. So that
because they never look at the box.
So that's got to be on the outside then, so that they can see these labels.
Correct.
Okay. So basically, it's got to go like that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And then you would do...
Slide it all the way that way.
Slide it all the way that way, and then put 1 staple.
Yep, and spin it around and do the same thing.
Okay, well, let's get the staple gun. All right. So the wood's now on this side, so that I can staple this side. So where does it exactly go?
There, you've got lines right there. That'll show you exactly where the staples go. But you want to get it centered on that. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. First one's done. That's good enough.
Okay.
Spin it around.
All right. Spin it around.
Yep.
About right there?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Check it.
Yep. How's it look?
Terrible. We got to do another one.
We got to do another
one?
The
staple didn't even go through.
Well, how did it not do that? All right.
Probably didn't have enough pressure.
Okay, so push
not
down.
With that.
Push down more.
With your hand.
With my hand.
Holding it for the reinforcement.
All right.
I'll get you another box.
We got to do it over. No worries. See, that's why professionals do this. I just make the baits.
Okay.
I use the product. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. Let's do it again.
All right. Now when you hold that there, hold that down good.
Really push on it.
Yep. And you can push pretty good on that too.
Okay. That's about right.
No.
No?
See where your line is? There you go.
There we go.
That sounded better.
That looks better. That one actually pulled that cardboard.
Right.
Okay. All right, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to mess it up this time.
There you go. That sounded great. Take a look. Perfect.
I did it. Okay, everybody. So now the next step is they have, I guess, sort of the boxing table here, and this is where we have the orders laid out. Obviously, we can't show you the order forms because of people's personal information, but let's, I guess, start with the 1 gallon. box? Okay.
Yeah,
because
the
the 2 gallon box has, you know, this gentleman got some plastic, worm oil, and colors, but we're going to show you just the first one. And so we just need 1 gallon of the black label salt water. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to walk over here to the, I mean, you can just see this rack. I want it all. But, okay, so we got some salt water up here.
Yep, you got salt water there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
First thing you do is pull it down.
Yeah.
Okay, because the caps are heat inducted with the steel seal, and they're done hot, first thing we check is make sure the cap is tight, because they will loosen up from sitting after the heat process.
Okay.
So basically, what you've got is
is that little seal,
like what you would get with windshield washer solvent,
right,
stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So here's your saltwater blend.
Yeah.
All right.
We can say his name, right? We just can't give personal information.
Just can't give personal information.
Yeah,
but
so
this is Brad Self.
Brad Self.
Self. All right. Unboxing up your stuff. So this is our gallon box.
Yep.
So do y'all pack it with anything? I cannot remember. Just put it straight in.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
No.
Part of no, don't you understand?
I thought no, we don't pack it with something. Okay, so what's next?
Gallon bag.
Gallon bag.
Just in case it leaks.
Okay. Gallon bag. I should have known.
So put it in the bag.
Yeah.
Set it right there. Spin it and tie it.
All right. Y'all just hand tie it?
Yep. Just one time around. Want the knot right against this.
Right against the cap? Okay.
Because what would happen is if they drop it on the top, that knot's going to actually knock a hole in through that plastic.
Okay.
So when you tie this, you can do the other one.
Yeah.
What I always do is just tie it like that and take the knot, pull it a little.
Take the knot and pull it away from the cap.
So now when he packs this, it'll be sitting back here.
Okay. Beautiful.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. All right. So this next order is a little bit different in the fact that this person also got some of their bottles of colorant and some of their worm oil additive. And so basically we're going to be using a box that can fit all of it, the gallon jug and then the colorants and then the additive. So show us what's going on here. We already have our gallon bagged up like you just saw, and let's see what we're doing.
Normally what we would do if we had just 2 gallons, we would place them in there and put a divider in there. The UPS requires a divider between 2
I've seen that.
gallons or 2 objects that are the same.
Okay.
But with this order, we can probably we'll try it, and we do a lot of this trial and error stuff. We know it'll fit in these boxes, but we want them to get to you in one piece. So
that's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. So we'll put it with the.
He's putting it in facing the handle in towards the center of the box.
And we will get a divider.
A divider.
We have dividers made up for these and the quad boxes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the quad boxes are cool if you've ever gotten one of those. This is Luke Summerlin. Yeah. This is your order, buddy.
You're famous now.
Oh, please. Yeah, so let's see. He's getting some Purple Rain, some Red Rum, Green Pumpkin, Opaline Blue, Opaline Green, some Beauregard, and some Worm Oil. I'm going to go get the sticker, and I have the packing slip. So we're going to make sure. And then directions.
Sticker, directions,
packing slip.
And packing slip. Now this is where I would put it in. And always put it in the side that the gallon's in, because it'll get scrunched over here. Okay. Where here it'll all stay straight.
So would you put it along the divider or along the edge?
You can put it any edge you want.
Divider. Yeah.
Okay. Works the same.
Yeah. There it is.
Yep. There. You're ready to go.
That's the difference in experience, you know. No, that.
I've literally packed thousands of these.
I mean, he pretty much does most of the orders, and then you also have another employee helping you do this too. He's not here right now.
Nope, Scott Ferris. Yeah. He's a 64-year-old retired guy, and
gets it done.
Yep, and he likes being in here. He's friends of all of ours for years, so he likes coming in here.
Yeah, no, that's it. You know, we're gonna staple this up, and that one's going out the door. All right, everybody, we are in the Dead on Plastix colorant room with a very special guest. This is Travis Crossman. You've probably seen him as the face of Dead On There are some other characters behind the scenes, which you've met him earlier, Randy. But Travis is going to take it away here in just a few moments, where he is the Color Maestro. You were a bait maker for what, 13 years before starting Dead On?
I had Stanks Bait Company. We started back about 13 years ago. I've been pouring my own baits for many years and went through numerous plastisols and different colorants and whatnot. So that was a part of it when we started this. I knew what I wanted, and I had used other companies and
you knew the market really well.
I knew the market rather well, and what direction we wanted to go with them, as far as do we want them full strength, do we want to be able to make them more transparent,
right?
And we really decided on we'd rather have them stronger and allow the customer to put less drops in.
I've always kind of thought of it as hot sauce. You only need 1 or 2 drops, right. Kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
there's some of them I wish we had a half dropper. If you could just cut
absolutely
that
cut a drop in half. Yeah, orange.
But yeah,
that orange is great. Though.
But yeah, they're so we mix a couple of them differently. Some of them are powder based, and some of them are pigment based, just like other companies.
Yeah.
But we decided to do things a little differently with like the Paragon colors. Instead of offering a pearl color in a jar to where you have to open it up and take a little spoon and just get just the right amount to put in there, in this form it's a little more controlled and easier.
So they are pearlized effects with
Correct.
the convenience of already being pre-mixed.
Correct.
Sort of.
Correct. And with something like this, it does have more of a transparent effect, the Paragons, because it's just a pearl, but then you can use backer colors like a couple drops of black or a couple drops of white to change the light refraction and how the pearl kind of stands out and shows.
And that was sort of the, just talking to you many months ago when these started being developed, that was, I think, you were telling me that was maybe some of the inspiration behind it was the Paragon colors are an enhancement color.
Correct.
To an existing base as much as just squirted in by itself.
Correct. Correct. And a lot of them do look good as just a straight transparent.
Oh yeah,
the guys
Snow Shine is just great for white pearl.
It's probably one of our number one sellers now, and
I think so.
It's a high. I mean, it's one of the whitest whites.
And so what a lot of people might not know is that you make these colors.
I make all these in my personal shop now,
right?
And that was the thing. As this company grew, I had to start backing off on Stanks. So when we did start Dead On, I was still at the tail end of Stanks. I was shooting angling and molds and putting
painting a lot of
and doing a lot of painting of big swim baits and whatnot. So that's it was really all at the same time as all of this coming together. And as Dead On grew, and I had to stop making baits so much, I started losing my bait shop at home to the colorants. I had to make these, and so I'm about an hour away, and I make these in my personal shop and come over once a week to drop them off here at the warehouse and whatnot. So that's really, aside from the customer service and social media part of it, this is really my day-to-day hourly job, so to say.
Sure, yeah.
For starters, all of our stuff is compatible. It's all made with the same base, so you don't have to worry about mixing and matching things. It's all comes from the same source. The first thing that I wanted when we came out with the new pearl lines, I didn't want just the straight basic white pearl, just to drop in there. I did some research and I found what changes a pearl and what really makes a pearl is the light refracting off of it. And in order to change that, the smaller the micron, the brighter the white you get, the brighter the flash.
Yeah, Snow Shine is a more brilliant white than just my regular white mica powder.
Yeah, and
it's there's something different about
this was so fine of a powder. If I was to offer this in the powder form like most pearls
just
are,
make a mess.
No, you can't open the lid on it. If you open the lid, just the suction of
just the air,
it will pull out a quarter of it.
And that happens with any powder, but this would now you're breathing it in.
Correct. And so I needed a way to contain that. So that's why they went into the liquid form.
That's why it's already ready.
Right. And you don't have to worry about spilling $9, you know.
Of powder, yeah.
Powder
yeah, my
everywhere.
Color Shift powder, I'm like real careful getting it out of the bag.
Right, and some of them, you know, like the purple, it doesn't come to us as a straight ready to use purple. It's a purple pigment, but then when it comes to us, I have to figure out the ratio to give it to you guys. You know, if I can't cut it up and sell it in the shape that it comes in. It's like a paste material, and it's just not a way to transport it easily,
right?
And cost effective. To break it into a easy to use liquid, well, then it's like how liquidy do you make it? Do you want to make it thin to where they have to put in a lot of drops, but then it's transparent?
Right.
Or do you want to, you know, so I have to figure out how much I'm going to cut it with our softener in order to, you know, get it to the right consistency that I want. It's really finding the right consistencies for each color as I go. I don't just get something and just dump in a gallon of it and say, okay, that's what it's going to be, you know.
Right.
I don't like to, some companies will grab 2 of their stock colors off the shelf and mix them 50-50 and say, okay, we got a new color.
We got a new color.
You know?
Right.
Well, that's kind of easy, you know.
Sure.
And anybody can do that. And that was the thing with colors, like, really everything starts from the primary colors, your blue, yellow, red. You know, you can make your tertiary, your secondaries, your tertiary colors off of that. It's not until you get in the neons and the pearls that you need some extra help, you know, with those effects.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, you just heard it there, folks. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's not just I source a pigment, cut it with worm oil, and it's done. You know, because if I was going to make a pigment, that's probably how I'd go about it. You know, but yeah, no, cool. I appreciate the insight on it, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about the plastisols. All right, so we are along the plastic wall here. I think you might have seen this already in this video, but you know, Travis here was, you know, instrumental, had a lot to do with the development of their product, especially once they went to their proprietary plastic, and he's going to talk a little bit about that. And you know, what makes their plastic special in a way, and you know, the challenges of going non-phthalate. And take it away.
Yeah. So what it was I poured the same plastic for about 7 years before we started this endeavor, and I had to wear a special, pretty much like a jet air mask, to
Something
pump
serious.
fresh oxygen to me because I was getting sinus infections. I was pumping out a lot of baits for Tackle Warehouse.
Yeah, I mean, you did it full time.
Full time.
Yeah.
It was a full time
all
job.
day long. Yeah.
And so obviously, if you're not healthy, you can't work. You know, and when you got a sinus infection, you can't put a mask on. You know, it just isn't collecting. So there was something to it there. And when we branched off and started doing this, we were working with our original polymers company, and the issue had went away a little bit. And so I noticed, you know, there's kind of something to it. You know, must be a
differences in those plasticizers.
Right.
Yeah.
So it got us to thinking and whatnot, and we ended up moving ways, parting ways with that company.
Right.
And trying different stuff out and whatnot. But what we ended up settling on was a non-phthalate product.
Right. And that's as you get it today.
As you get it today. Our product, even though it has a Prop 65 sticker on it,
yeah,
that Prop 65 sticker is covering this actual bucket.
The bucket.
Not the contents inside of it, but the bucket.
That's some serious CYA right there.
Yes, this handle might have a phthalate in it. We don't know. We don't make the buckets.
Right.
We ship them to California, so we have to cover it.
Right.
But the chemical component inside there, the phthalate, is now coming to light more. DIMP causes some lung issues.
And that's the DINP plasticizers is probably the most common in the industry.
It's the most common.
Right.
It's the most common in the industry, and pretty much it's an insulator that insulates the resins, allows everything to gel together, and just like anything, the cheaper your ingredient, the less, you know, it's going to work. You know,
Sure.
The faster it will burn, the less it will insulate or protect your resins to keep them from yellowing.
Right.
So we went with a high-end plasticizer, a phthalate-free. That's where
a non-phthalate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the challenge during development, was getting the plastic to behave like you want to and also be non-phthalate.
Right.
And then particularly the floating stuff was a challenge.
Right, because there's not a lot of polymer companies that will just deal with a non-phthalate.
Deal with the non-phthalate.
Yeah, it's more expensive, so it's not something that's more readily available through polymer companies.
Sure.
We've tried an extreme salt water, you know, it's possible, but it's just like, it doesn't fit into the category. You get so many resins in there, it's cloudy.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's not dead on looking. You know, it's not a crystal clear look to it.
Right.
Same thing. We did a high float. You know, that stuff you couldn't keep it on the bottom. I mean, pop right back to the top.
Up.
But once again, it's got a ton of balloons in it, and it's cloudy. And then you know you get the float, but then you don't get the stretch. You know, and
you don't get the durability.
Right, because once you put air pockets into plastisol, you no longer have a direct correlation of surfaces. You have air pockets in there, which end up allowing it to break a lot easier. In this day and age with our terminal tackle, there's so many ways to make things sink. Why start with a bait that just sinks, you know? Like, you could have nail weights, wacky rigs, jigs, mojos, however you want to do it. We have the ways to make things sink, you know? So why just make a bait just sink right to begin with, you know, by loading it full of salt, you know? Because then it's got one rate of fall, and you have to adjust. All you can do is make it go faster. You can't slow it down.
Right.
With our white feather floating, you can do just the opposite now. You got something that floats, but now you can use terminal tackle to bring that down to the level you want. Or you can mix with our black plastic, you can mix the 250-50 and get something more neutral buoyancy.
Which you prefer on a drop shot.
On a drop shot,
That way it doesn't follow the line up.
Correct.
And
a lot
start
of people,
getting tangled.
A lot of misconception. A lot of people think that they want a floating drop shot when really you want it parallel to the ground. You don't want it riding with the line.
Being from Florida, I've drop shotted 3 times in my life, so these are interesting facts that I'm not aware of.
You're in smallmouth territory.
All right, everybody. So I'm actually back in Tallahassee, back at my house, and I was just doing the edit on this video and realized I forgot to film an outro. So I guess I flew all the way home and didn't film an outro for this video. So we'll make this quick, I guess, but hope y'all enjoyed seeing a little bit behind the scenes. Man, I tell you, everyone just works so hard. So you know, whenever you order something from Dead on Plastix or AI, you know, hey, send those guys a quick little thank you email or something, you know, because they are working hard to try to get the product to you in the quickest amount of time and the best shape possible. So yeah, it's been a couple days now, so I'm trying to like think back to everything that was going on to film it. This is why I like to film outros in real time. But anyway, awesome experience. We will have one more video in the series from Michigan, so stay tuned for that one. That one's going to be really special. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.